Hello and welcome to the Ilene Silverman Show. I'm your host Ilene, and on this week's program, our guests discuss the Child Advocacy Center and their valuable approach to help abused and neglected children heal, and the importance of their capital campaign to build a better future for our children. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for our program. I'm very pleased to introduce my guest, Sherry Kitchens, President, CEO of Child Advocacy Center. And Sherry, it is a privilege and wonderful to have you here. We think back on other Ilene Silverman shows about Child Advocacy Center. One when you were just getting started, 2005, and another wonderful opportunity that you presented us, and here we are again, and I really value that.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and share about all the wonderful things that are happening at the center with you and your guests.
I appreciate that. And yes, wonderful things are happening. But before we go into what's happening next, kind of just circle back and give us, first of all, an explanation, in case some viewer doesn't know, what is Child Advocacy Center?
Well, the Child Advocacy Center was started here in 1998 by Rod and Dee Dee Smith.
Great people.
They are wonderful. And really, when they started to notice that child abuse victims in our community were falling through the cracks, they were not getting the services that they needed. It was very difficult to prosecute child offenders. It was really difficult for children to get all the services that they needed when they needed them. So they researched the National Child Advocacy Center model out of Huntsville, Alabama, and they found it was really a better way to help child abuse victims get the services that they need, make sure that the investigations were thorough, and that children were really listened to and believed and were the center of the investigative process, and to make sure that the system itself was supportive and compassionate.
Right. And you speak of the Child Advocacy Center as a multidisciplinary approach.
Yes.
So explain that. That's what makes it so unique and so valuable.
Unique, yes. Well, it brings together law enforcement, Department of Children and Families, child protective investigators, prosecutors, therapists, advocates, social workers, medical professionals, all of those folks that have some responsibility in helping children when there's been an outcry of abuse. And so pulling all of those folks together makes sure that all the investigators get the information that they need in order to keep these children safe going forward.
And I noticed, and from previous shows, and anyway, you always say that's what is so important is that the child does not have to relive the experience over and over again. They tell the story, so to speak, once.
Right.
And everybody is able to be a partner in that and then move forward for healing, which
Right.
is easier to say than to know that it all happens, because it involves a lot of steps.
It does involve a lot of steps, but the important part of it is to make sure that children are really at the center of the process. So what happens is children will be referred by law enforcement or Department of Children and Families, sometimes
Right.
by the state attorney's office. They will come to the center for a forensic interview. And a forensic interview is that neutral fact-finding process by which a child is interviewed by one person, and usually it's someone from my staff. And they are interviewed in a room that's child-friendly, that is really set up for kids. There is a camera in the room, and on the other side of the wall, there are a team of professionals able to watch that interview through a closed-circuit television in real time. Our interviewer wears an earpiece, and so if the team has any questions that they want to make sure get covered during the interview,
excellent.
the interviewer can not break the flow of the conversation with the child, but they can keep in mind what area they need to continue to cover to make sure that that child is safe and have the opportunity to tell the entire experience that they had.
Exactly, that one time. And I know we just have another minute or so, but when a child comes, can you quickly go through the process? Like I was saying, that they often get a snack and a toy, and in other words, it's a warm environment.
Child advocacy centers are by design child-friendly places. That's the cornerstone of the Child Advocacy Center model, is to make sure that that place looks like it's for kids. So when kids come to the center, they're greeted by someone who is happy and positive and really there for kids. They do get to pick out a juice and a snack. It's really hard for kids to talk to us if they're hungry.
Right.
So it gives us another opportunity to also assess any other needs they might have, like food insecurity. But they come into the center and they have an opportunity to look around and play. We have volunteers that come and hang out with the kids, and that's designed to help decrease their anxiety before they go into a service.
Right. I think it's all very beneficial, and we have so much more to talk about. We're going to take just a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back talking about Child Advocacy Center, and I'm pleased to introduce Jeff Quigley, Chair of the Board of Directors. And Jeff, I'm glad you joined us. And
thank you for having me.
oh, certainly. I mean, being on the board takes a lot of time, attention, caring attitude, and now chairing the board takes even more. So
Well,
I can see that this is something you're passionate about.
Yeah, it's the cause. I mean, we need healthy children to have a healthy community, and so this is part of my way of helping give back.
Yes, well said.
Yeah, thank you.
And speaking of the children and healthy children, which is the goal of everyone. I mean, when you grow up in one kind of family, you think everybody's like that, and then you find out as you go along that is not true. And tell us more about the children that the CAC sees and helps, and help us understand.
Well, in Alachua County alone, there are over 4,000 reports of child abuse and neglect just in this area.
I mean, that's just like staggering.
It is staggering. At the Child Advocacy Center, we see children who have been physically abused and sexually abused, children who have been drug endangered, children who have been trafficked, children who have been victims of domestic violence or community violence, and those children who are really struggling with, ongoing and complex trauma.
Right, it's just, it's a lot to unravel.
It is.
I mean, I see through your website and in conversation you have a dedicated staff, very qualified, very educated people, as you yourself are, and still, it must take everything.
We've been really fortunate since I've been, at the center. We started off with 3.5 staff, and now we have 18 staff. At the beginning, we're serving about 250 children a year, and last year we served almost 1,600 children. And so our staff feels very strongly that to be able to be there for children in such a dark time and help provide some hope and light and healing is a real gift and something we're all very passionate about.
I think that shines through. And on behalf of the community, is there a way we could be more responsible, be more attentive to seeing that children are suffering? I know you can make a phone call to start the process. Is there a way we could be more knowledgeable?
I think it's first of all really important to recognize that the children that you have in your life, to pay attention, to listen to them when you notice that something doesn't seem quite right, when something seems awry or they're having some kind of distress, take it seriously, and ask them how they're doing. And when they tell you that they have been harmed or maltreated in some kind of way, take it seriously and believe them. One of the biggest challenges that we have in the system is that it's really hard to believe some of the things that happen to kids. And so when they are brave enough to tell us about it, we as a community need to be brave enough to call the abuse hotline, which is 1-800-96-ABUSE, and get the ball rolling to get them some help.
Well said. I know that's something that motivates you, Jeff.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. And going back to the CAC, can you just help us a little more understand, again, the process of all that is happening?
Sure. When we first get a report that a child has been abused, generally we start with what's called a forensic interview, which is this fact-finding neutral process by which we have one person interview a child and a team watches through a closed-circuit television in the room next door. It provides a little bit of safety and what we call kind of a cocoon for the center, that we kind of wrap a cocoon around that child and provide some safety for them during the process.
And you stay, say the caseworker stays with that child through this entire journey, right, no matter what it may entail. I mean, it may end up in the courts, it may not. There's all different ways that a case can proceed, but you have that one person is with that child.
Every child that comes to the center is assigned an advocate, and the advocate helps their family with food, clothing, housing, shelter, connecting them with resources, as well as going to criminal court, dependency court, sometimes family court or juvenile court with kids. Going to court is scary. It's really scary for adults too, and so to make sure that there's someone there to help explain that whole process to the children is really important. And then we also have a therapy program. We have 8 full-time therapists that work at the center and provide that ongoing, longer-term therapy and healing process with the children.
Very important. And we're about to take another break, but Jeff, when we come back, we're going to talk about that capital campaign that you are now chairing and what is going to be happening in the future for Child Advocacy Center.
That sounds great.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back talking about the Child Advocacy Center with Sherry Kitchens and Jeff Quigley. And Jeff, we just were starting to talk about the capital campaign. So here you are chairing it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we have embarked on a campaign to raise $1.6 million, and it's
Great.
to be used for a couple of different things. One, we
All
have a
right.
mortgage we'd like to pay off, which will enable us to use the money that we're currently working on that to go towards more programs for the kids. We need to update the building. It's an older building. Do some renovation.
Right.
Have some money for future projects in the building when the air conditioner needs to be replaced, or those types of things.
Yes, you have to have something to fall back on.
Gotta have some
Yeah.
money put away. Yeah. We also, simple things like having, computers and phone systems and those things that are important. And our goal as a board of directors is to provide the funding so that Sherry can go do the work that she needs to do
Right.
and doesn't need to worry about how I'm going to pay the
Yes,
bills.
and everybody there can concentrate on the children.
That's right. That's our whole
You're
goal.
taking care of everything else if possible.
That's the goal. So we have this campaign that's going to run through June of 2020.
Great.
We're very fortunate. We have an anonymous donor that's offered us.
This is wonderful.
Yeah, really exciting.
Explain, yes.
He's offered us $400,000 in matching funds, and so essentially we have raised to date about $250,000, which turned it into
Congrats.
$500,000.
Yes.
If we can maximize that and raise another $150,000 this year, we can actually pay off the mortgage, which would be spectacular. And then we also want a pot
What
of
a
money.
relief.
Yeah,
Right.
big relief. It takes a lot of stress, particularly off of Sherry and the
Yes.
staff. But then we want a pot of money to also, a lot of the grants that we receive,
Yes.
we get refunded. So you have to spend the money to get the money back.
Okay, explain
And
that, like the
yeah,
reimbursement.
so they'll
Okay.
say, we're going to award you $600,000. Well, if we don't have $600,000 in the bank to go out and do the programs and show that we've accomplished our goals, and then we get reimbursed, we
Then you
can't
lose.
even we lose that opportunity for money.
And currently, you're kind of in that situation.
Yeah, and so if we had an extra $300,000 or whatever it would be that we could spend, and that money would be reimbursed every year, that money could be recycled, and what we could
Right.
accomplish with an extra $300,000 in our budget with hiring more staff, impacting
more
more
kids.
children,
Yes.
it would be a tremendous asset. So when somebody has the ability to give to our campaign, not only right now can we double their money and make it a more impactful gift, but that money will be used
Right.
for years and years to come.
Right.
So
it's growing.
it's growing, and
Yes,
it's a
it
gift
allows
that
you-
will
well-
continue to help for years.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have matching, besides the matching donations, you have other opportunities like naming
Yeah, absolutely.
opportunities within the facility.
Yes, that is
Others,
true.
some people have already jumped in and made that
Yeah,
possible.
which is amazing.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
it
have,
is.
so grateful.
It's wonderful. You have some very, very good people that are assisting Child Advocacy Center, but the call is for more.
Call us for more, and we love the opportunity to reward somebody with a generous donation by being able to put their name on a therapy room or on a
Right.
facility that we have, and it's a lasting legacy for them and for their family to be able to say we're impacting the children of Alachua County, and that's important.
Building a better future for
Building a
those
better
children,
future.
and which enriches all of us.
Oh, absolutely.
It all makes a difference. And when you talk about making a difference, you have some astounding numbers to share with us, Sherry, about how many families CAC has served and caregivers. And I mean, it's kind of staggering.
It really is, and I wasn't until this capital campaign I had the opportunity to really go and collect all of that information just so that we could share the impact that the Child Advocacy Center's had on the community. We've served over 17,000 children and over 18,000 caregivers. We'll have caregivers that are concerned about the safety of their children and they don't know where to go and they don't know what to do. And sometimes they'll knock on our door and just say, help me, show me what the
to
next
do.
step is and how I can help my child through this. And so we help, even more caregivers, which was kind of astounding to me. I didn't
Yes,
quite realize
I don't
that.
always think in that term.
Right.
Right. That is amazing. That's got to be what pushes the board forward.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean-
we have a very dedicated group of people that this is their goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well spoken. We're going to take another quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're talking about the Child Advocacy Center. And Sherry, clearly this is your passion.
It is.
So tell us a little about yourself and why this is your passion, why this is such a focus for you.
Well, I could have used a child advocacy center when I was a child, and when I experienced childhood abuse, it was before the child advocacy center movement even started. And I have always worked with children at risk. I really see a lot of my own experience in the things that they've experienced, and I think it enables me to listen a little bit harder and potentially pick up on things that maybe others that haven't been there might not necessarily pick up on as quickly.
I agree. Yes, you can key into it.
So I was invited to be a part of the Child Advocacy Center kind of early on in 1999.
Right.
And it wasn't quite the
You
right
said
time
it was
for
at the
me.
right moment.
Right. And then in 2005,
The turning point.
Yes, in 2005, I got a call from Bobby Holden.
Yes,
who was
wonderful woman. that
Amazing.
Gave so
Amazing.
much to this organization.
She did. And she was also a family friend. And I was on the couch with my newborn, and she said, I think you should be the director of the Child Advocacy Center, and I want you to be in my office tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And I said, well, Miss Bobby, I'm on maternity leave with my daughter. And she said, well, I need to meet her. You need to bring her anyway. And Bobby wasn't someone that you said no to.
I agree on that.
And so I also decided that there was a reason that I was being
This was your direction.
that I was being invited to be a part of the center more than once, and that I really needed to listen.
Well said, and I'm glad you did. Thank you, Bobby. And in her memory, her name is still a part of your board, and
Yes.
her impact is still felt because you are still president, CEO, and leader with a kind heart.
Well, thank you.
And I think that shines through. And everybody who's involved, you have a host of volunteers that come on board every day.
We're really fortunate in that we have student volunteers from the University of Florida and Santa Fe College.
Right.
We have adult executive volunteers that come in and help us with a number of kind of administrative sort of things.
Excellent.
We work very closely with our board of directors. It's a very collaborative, conjoint effort to make sure that the center is available for children for many years whenever they need it. That's really our goal.
And there you are, the leader of that dedicated board.
Yeah, it's a great group of professionals that assist us, and from time to time we look for new faces and how we can. What are our needs?
Right.
But we're very fortunate to have a lot of giving people in this community that value the importance
Child
of children
Advocacy
being healthy
Center.
and yeah.
Right,
So
I
it's-
agree. And coming from the community, what other ways could we be involved? How could we? Well, we know financially, we can donate to the center, to Child Advocacy Center, to the Capital Campaign. But what are some other ways? We can bring. You talked about diapers and juice boxes and
needs for the kids when they come
Okay.
in, meeting their needs so that they're comfortable, so that we want our space, our building to feel as a safe place. It's another home for them, and so whether it be a warm toy or a book, a snack, when they feel comfortable, then they're more apt to taking on the therapy and
right. Then
and
you
doing
know
the
it's
things
working.
that can help turn their lives and their situations around. But
So that's a way the community can jump on board too.
Absolutely.
And of course, we can attend your annual fundraiser,
Yes.
which is always like the last Thursday of October,
It
Gainesville
is,
Gone.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, Gainesville Gone was started by a dedicated group of ladies, and
Yes.
they really felt like the Child Advocacy Center needed a signature event to
Right.
raise annual funds to support the center so that we could make sure to have our doors open whenever children need us. And so that event has grown from, a
Small event.
small
to-
little event to really
Mega.
significant. We work very closely with the Hitchcock family. They have donated their space up in Alachua for us to hold our
Right.
event.
Santa Fe River Ranch.
Yes, this year we also were able to benefit from their new venue called Valley View.
Right.
that
One of
brought-
the first there.
absolutely beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah.
unbelievable. and it really brought in kind of a new flavor and a new theme, and it was amazing. And we had lots of new supporters join us that night, and we've had lots
Excellent.
of calls for tours. We love to show the center off. We love
that's
to
another good option.
invite folks into the center to take a look and to really see things through the eyes of the children. It really illuminates what we are accomplishing with children there. And so we invite your listeners and viewers to come and tour the Child Advocacy Center and learn more about us.
It's a great opportunity, and this has been a great opportunity for all of us, and I appreciate, Jeff, all that you are doing, and with the Capital Campaign, and Sherry, I appreciate, along with Jeff, we all appreciate you and your leadership for Child Advocacy Center. It is enriching our entire community.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an amazing gift in my life as well.
And may the journey continue.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad you tuned in, and I hope you'll join us next week. Take care.